So basically we get off the ground first. We sort of, given there's a little bit of a side wind, we might drift a bit, and we just follow him. So the rope I think is about 50-55 metres long. So we've got one aircraft landed, no one on tidal or base, looks pretty clear. Okay, ready for cable. Open, closed. On secure. It's all clear on final and base at the moment. This is taken off. No one else has come out, so airspace clear, ready for launch. Okay. Oh, is that the safety strap on? Yep.
Okay, Bacchus Marsh, point E, Tango November Charlie is departing 190 with glider on tow, Bacchus Marsh.
A bit rough, but we like it like that because it indicates there's good lift around.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're in good lift at the moment, but we're too low to let go. So he's a glider pilot, so he flies his tug a bit like a glider pilot does.
Yeah.
If he finds some thermal, he'll go up in it. Whereas the people who just come with a power license, they don't understand all that sort of stuff. They fly in straight lines. So normally we'd get about 400 feet per minute behind him in still air, but you know we're getting 600 to 800 on and off. So, and even up to 10 I saw once there.
Bacchus Marsh, point E, Tango November Charlie, overhead the field at 2,200 on climb, heading south. Bacchus Marsh.
Yes. So the instruments are almost off the stop. There's good strong lift around.
Bacchus Marsh, traffic, what's your thing here for? More in 30 feet runway, 1 minute for touch and go, Bacchus Marsh.
That one in the bottom centre, that's the climb rate, is it? 10 knots?
Yes.
Yeah. Or above 10.
This is good lift. But I will hang on just to make sure we get. There's a glider circling below us on the right.
Yeah, see that one. Does they turn sharp?
I'll show you a sharp turn once we get up there. Depends what you're doing. Like if you're in a tight thermal, you have to do a tight turn.
Yeah.
under this next cloud.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll get off now. There we go.
Bacchus Marsh, 20 Tango November Charlie's on a high crosswind 419 Bacchus Marsh.
I'll go back up under it. So this is a slightly steep turn.
Mm.
Oops, we need some lift.
Bacchus Marsh, 20 Tango November Charlie's downwind 419 Bacchus Marsh.
I don't know if you felt it, but there was a kick under the right wing, so that tells me that the thermal was on our right, so that's the direction I turn in.
Mm.
Okay, so there'll be various rates, but we're going up.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, traffic. Foxtrot Tango Uniform Papa Warrior, dealing around runway
So
19
unfortunately it's very
Bacchus
hazy today.
Mm.
Oops, fell out of it. So the clouds are a good indicator for where the lift is, because the thermal takes up moist air, and when it gets to a certain level, it
Bacchus Marsh, 20
condenses.
Tango November Charlie, space 19 a full stop Bacchus Marsh.
But you know, there are thermals even on blue days, so you've got to do those by feel and where experience tells you. Like brown paddocks are a good source.
Mm.
Okay, this might get us back up. So you can hear the thing beeping away.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah. There's that other glider straight ahead of us, just on the horizon.
Mm. Alright.
And there was a third one
One
somewhere.
out to the left, I think. There's one down below us.
So we're getting close to cloud base, so I'm going to have to sort of head off a bit, because we're not allowed to fly in cloud.
Alright.
We can sort of just touch it, but it's not allowed. So I'll head down towards Geelong, which is down this way.
Mm.
We won't go right down there, but it's sort of right on the horizon. There's some white buildings. They're not very, they don't stand out a lot. So that's Geelong, and the hills that are just ahead of us now, that's the Yuyangs. So they're just on the Geelong Road.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that other glider, he's thermaling now. We've got a lot of wind turbine farms coming in this area now.
Mm.
Yeah. There's one ahead of us, but it's a bit misty, so we need to just, when we get a little bit lower you'll see it. But some of them are massive, you know, hundreds of turbines. So we'll go over with this other guy. So we use other gliders to indicate where the lift is as well.
Yeah.
If he's turning, he's in lift.
Shandelle traffic is 0 India Uniform and Andrew, this time we 10 miles to the northeast, 4,500.
I'm just feeling it now.
Flying 4 Cabinet, 4,500.
So we always turn in the same direction. Try and keep a good eye on him. This is an important part of your learning, is keeping a good watch out for other planes.
Yeah.
Oops. so we fell out of it. Hear the sound got different.
Bacchus Marsh traffic, Foxtrot taking uniform platform area, standing base runway 19 for a full stop, Bacchus Marsh.
He's heading off, I think. So even though we're flying straight, we're still going up a little bit. And I can feel. So we're sort of heading in the direction of Ballarat, but you can't see Ballarat from here. But you can see there's those two hills on the horizon. That's about just past there is where Ballarat is.
Yeah.
And Bacchus Marsh, the town, is on the right. That's sort of growing at the moment. You can see coming up ahead of us now, it's Bacchus Marsh. The next one around will be Melton, but that's a bit hard. And Melbourne, unfortunately, you can see where it is, but you can't really see it. On a good day, you can see all the high rise in the city, but you can just see some white buildings in the suburbs there now. And can you see like a loop down on our left? That's the railway from Melbourne to Ballarat. So it comes up through Bacchus Marsh, goes through this loop to climb up. There's quite a decent rise there.
Yeah.
And there's a valley. So this on our left is called the Roseley Valley. I think there's a lot of walking trail and stuff down there. Head up towards this cloud and hopefully get a bit more lift, and then I'll give you a go. See the airfield on our right down there. It's at about 2 o'clock. You get a good view of the cross strips. There's a glider right over the middle of the airfield circling.
Bacchus Marsh traffic, cross take uniform warrior, backhead 19, back 27, sorry, from Bacchus Marsh. Manoeuvres just to try and get in the strongest part of it. You okay with the circling?
No.
Some people don't like it.
Bacchus Marsh traffic, Foxtrot taking uniform by board, it's clear all under the Bacchus Marsh.
Tried to kick us out then. So what I'll do is when I get around in that direction, I'll open out a little bit. Because I feel it's sort of behind us. good introduction in a way.
One up on our right.
Yeah. I'm going to watch where he's circling. Might sort of indicate where the best lift is. That's a privately owned glider from one of the guys in our club.
Yeah.
He's given up on it by the looks of it, headed off looking for something better, or might just get a little bit more and then we'll head off and I'll give you a go.
Yeah.
So we're up 2,800, so we gained about 800 feet then. We use those to give us a nice slow steep rate of turn so we can stay in the middle. Alright, do you want to just put your hand gently on the stick?
Yeah.
And I'll just demonstrate. So to go faster, the stick goes slowly forward. So the most of the movements are fairly gentle. Right? You come back, you bring the stick back, the nose comes up, and then you level out again using the. So that's the elevator does that.
Yeah.
To turn, if we want to turn to the right, we push the stick to the right, and then hold it in the middle, and the turn will just keep going. To stop the turn, you push the stick to the left.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep going, and stick back in the middle, and we just keep turning. So I'll straighten out again now. We'll head down towards the Yu-Yangs. So the thing is, if you're flying straight, keep the wings level. Okay, you've got it now, I'm not holding on. So just small movements. Okay, you're flying. And we're going up. Terrific. We're going up without even thermaling. Do you want to try a turn?
A little bit. Get a feel for it first.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So the movements are very gentle, especially on a slippery glider like this. On the older gliders, they're more coarse.
Yeah.
And the faster you're going, the slower they are. It's sort of like a car steering, you know. The faster you go, the smaller movements you use on the steering wheel. So we just need a little bit more speed, so gently forward on the stick, that's it. We normally fly around about 50. That's it. Do you want to do a left turn and just get back under the clouds and see if we can get a bit more lift? Okay, and straighten out now. That's right. Hopefully we'll find some lift.
So you're turning it with the rudder, are you, as well?
Yeah. Gliders need to use the rudder, whereas power planes don't. You know, their engine overcomes the need for the rudder, but we need to use the rudder. It's there to support your turn. Okay. It feels on the left. I'll just take it and go round to the left because it feels like a good thermal. Flat back on and we'll get a bit more height. Have you ever done any aerobatics?
No. No.
Alright, we'll do some gentle ones. I don't want to scare you. Some people love them, some people are a little bit nervous. So we get a bit more height. Before I do them, I have to check there's no one under us. We don't do them over towns. This glider is only rated for fairly simple aerobatics.
Yeah.
It's not an aerobatic glider, but we can do some simple ones. But there are some specially made for aerobatics, and they can just throw them all over the place. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was watching some of the Red Bull stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is, isn't it? And you know,
the speed they get to
too. Speed, and they're so close to the ground or the water, and then they flip from 90-degree bank turns one way to the other. It's amazing. So you get used to this turning. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but if we're on a long, we might be up for 3, 4, 5 hours. So we spend a lot of time circling. So the thing to do is look out. Don't sort of stare at your instruments or stare at the ground. Look to the distance. Perhaps one more turn. Yeah, it's a pity you can't see the horizon too well. That town coming up just ahead of us now, that's Melton. Which I think eventually is going to be part of Melbourne, the way the buildings are going. And can you see how it's getting a bit more hazy?
Yeah.
We're close to the bottom of the cloud, so I'll head off. So we're what, 2,900 feet?
Yeah.
So there's that glider on our left, we've seen the circling and he's come over. But we'll get out of his way. So I'll put the nose down a bit, get a bit of speed, get out of his way quickly and obviously.
So what's that in real speed, ground speed?
If there's no wind, 50 knots is probably about 80 to 90 kilometres an hour. But we're flying relative to the air, not to the ground.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll just check underneath us. Just make sure there's no one there. Because we'll lose a little bit of height.
Yeah.
You see how steeper turns we can do. Alright, now if we fly too slow, the wings don't generate enough lift.
Yeah.
And we basically fall, but this is all part of our training, because it can happen at any time. The nose drops, we just pick it up and gently pull out of it.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of stuff, training you have to do, because
Just stall training.
you can be kicked out of a thermal and you can stall.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of and feel it and be able to get out of it.
So put nose down a bit.
Nose down and
pull
just
back.
wait till you get the speed up. So here's a steeper turn, so we can do quite steep turns. We have to do them a little bit faster. Alright, so there's no one underneath us, I can't see anyone else around us. I'll do what's called a shandelle. So it's basically a turn where you do a little bit of a climb.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of speed up. A little bit of speed up. And then we pull up and into a turn. And we just turn. So near the end of it, we almost stall, but not quite. Get a little bit of G as we pull out, you can feel yourself settling in.
Yeah.
So do you like that?
Yeah.
Do you want to go a little bit further?
Yeah, if you want.
This is called a stall turn. So we pull up and then we drop sideways. So we get speed, 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 and then we pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, point to the sky, kick the rudder on, and we fall sideways. So you feel the G with that one, don't you? So, I mean, a lot of people love aerobatics and that's all they do. Other people, they're a bit nervous and that's fine, you know, but you have to be trained in abnormal situations.
There's one up there.
Here we see what it's doing. It's not turning. So we're down to 2,300. We've had about, I think we've had 25 minutes, so we'll have a little bit longer. See if we can get one more thermal. Here we go, here we go. It's not very strong, but we'll see what happens. So that single seat glider that's heading down south now, that's about the same performance as this one. And they're about the same age. So fiberglass gliders don't really age a lot. You know, they still look white and sleek, and whereas the older ones, you know, they do really show their age. So if you've had enough, let me know.
Is landing the hardest part like he's a plane?
Well, yes and no. You know, takeoff and landing are the critical points, especially landing. And that's where accidents happen, but you know, so long as every flight ends on the ground, it's a good one. And obviously, you know, you're trained to do it. You're trained to do it in different conditions. We've got a little bit of a crosswind today, so we've got to be aware of that. So you okay? You want to keep going? Or you
yeah. It's all good.
We'll probably go for about 5 or 10 more minutes. It'll take us just over half an hour. I've lost sight of him now. I can't see where he's gone.
No idea.
Oh, that was my phone.
Did he get any lift off the ranges, or?
We do, not so much over those ranges.
No.
Where we get it is if we've got a northwesterly, there's this valley. I'll just turn and show you where it is. So we do get wave lift here. But we've got this height limit of 4,500 feet because we're under the plains in the Tullamarine. So it's a bit hard to pick up. There's this big Rosalie Valley below us, and then there's this ridge over and past it. And we get, if the wind's in the right direction and strong enough, we get wave lift. So it's sort of like waves on a beach. You know, they go up and then they break. Like if you just pull it in, Yeah, so we do get some wave. Yeah, but the wind's got to be specifically in the right direction. Oh, there's bumps. So the ground's starting to green up again.
Yeah. Well, it should look nice soon.
Yep.
Certainly buying a lot of fertiliser.
So do you live in Melbourne or?
Geelong.
Without this haze, we can actually see Avalon, but it's sort of just to the left of the leftmost of the Yuyang. About dead ahead now.
Right.
But you can't really see it. And Geelong, you can see some big silos or something, some big white buildings. They're sort
there
of.
he is. He's over to 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
The other one. So how do you know which way to turn when you hit the...
You get a feel for it, because unless you hit exactly in the middle, you'll hit with one wing and you'll feel one wing bump up.
Right.
It's a feel thing. It takes a little while to get used to, but yeah. And it's certainly, like with some of today's, it's been really obvious because they're very strong thermals. And they're associated with air going down. So you're going from air going down to air going up. So it's quite noticeable. You can see a good view of the airfield there on the left. So we'll head over to the other side, just ready for landing.
Yeah.
So you feel the wing tip up then? It just indicates there was some lift. And now the right wing. So I won't turn in it because we'll think about landing soon. Oh dear, look at this one. Just pull out the air brakes because
arrow, remember, or runway 19, upwind departure,
so you can see down there on the left the new roundabouts they put on the Bacchus Marsh to Geelong roads.
Oh yeah.
Because there used to be some corners that were a bit dangerous. Okay, so I'm basically just positioning myself to do the circuit. So every flight we finish with a sort of like a square circuit around where we're going to land.
Yeah.
So the idea is to keep our eye out, check for other aeroplanes, gliders, make sure you've got enough height. Just keep your eye on where you're going to land. So we're coming down about 1,400 feet. So I'm not seeing any other gliders around. I can't see where that guy is. Our flam isn't indicating anything close to us. Brakes away. That's our circuit once I get lined up. traffic as you glide up India Zulu India, joining downwind to runway 19 at Bacchus Marsh. And we just let people know that we've started. Okay, so there's a few checks I've got to do. I just want to make sure I've got safe speed near the ground. I'll leave my flaps up for a little while until we get a bit closer.
No.
I trim, which means we've got a control which will keep the glider flying at whatever speed you want if you let go. So the idea is you always trim for the speed you're flying at. So if you let go, it'll just keep flying by itself. So you can see there's one glider down on the strip, just pulled off a bit. That's where we're going to be landing.
Right.
So I'm a bit closer in than I was on the last flight because I'm a little bit lower, but we've got heaps of height. It's just, you sort of work on an angle to where you can land. Oh, and we've hit some lift. Oh. So I can open out now, that gives us a lot of extra height. Crikey. So that's probably come off the actual airstrip. The tarmac heats up quicker. So we quite often get lift. Okay, so there's nothing in circuit that I can see. Put landing flap on. Bacchus Marsh traffic, glider India Zulu India, turning base for runway 19 at Bacchus Marsh. We've got plenty of height, so I'll sort of open out a little bit. And we'll land up on the left.
Yeah.
So I just pick a point where I think we'll touch down and just keep aiming for that. Okay, and that's it. Alright, so if you just take that bit of string off the lid and the yellow thing you lift up on your seat belt, and that'll that's it.
Oh.
It's probably about 40 minutes now.
Yeah, I've got to try and get out.
Yeah, you can just stand up on the seat.